where you have an officer basically around the neck area.
These two retired Vegas cops, now podcast hosts.
They don't have ID, they can't get into a hotel room.
To get them the help they need, especially if someone even gets arrested. A lot of people don't know how the justice system works.
What you guys have going on is necessary, it's needed.
Hey, it's David Kohlmeyer, the Problem Solvers. Thanks so much for joining us today. Every single week, Thursday, approximately 4:30, we go live talking about different problems, things going on locally here in Las Vegas or all through the United States or even the world sometimes. Again, the Problem Solver, the goal is to help people with problems. You reach us anytime at 702-999-1111. Again, 702-999-1111. Today, as usual, I have my great co-host, Danny Miner, known as the Miracle. Thanks, Danny, for joining us today.
Thanks, Dave. My microphone is blocking my face. You're right. All right, it's a little
We
better.
want to make sure we get that good-looking face in there for the
Yeah, we want to make sure.
viewers.
Yeah, the girls will keep tuning in if they should.
Maybe if we were both better looking, we would have more views.
That's true.
Or younger.
That's true. At younger days, we'd have been all right. We're too old. Girls ain't gonna look at us anymore. Our days are past.
Well, they say with the light, gray hair, people like that. The women like that. What do you think?
I think it's just to make us feel better.
Yeah.
I don't think they really like us gray.
I feel old with the gray hair myself.
Yes.
All right, so today I know there's a bunch of different topics that have interest you in general. Of course, any topics that we talk about that is I guess vital to the community. There's a few different topics that have come up recently. One is I just saw about something with regards to the drones with Las Vegas Metro,
Right.
And then if there was a crime. Tell me a little bit about what your knowledge about the new drone program.
Well, what I heard, and listen, this is like science fiction time, okay? If you remember when we used to see on TV, and God, I can remember movies like this, where somebody's committing a crime and a drone pulls up with a gun and says, hold it right there, just, intelligent drone, right, talking, and makes them put the gun down and ends up shooting somebody. I think it was like on RoboCop. Remember back that movie RoboCop? Well, now they're saying that this is going to come true. Now, I'm hearing, Metro did not say this, okay, but what I'm hearing is they have 800 drones that they're going to buy for 2023. So the city itself is going to have 800 drones, and if there's a crime, a shooting, the drone is going to be able to respond there within 30 seconds and start filming the whole scene. So the criminal is going to have 30 seconds to get out of there. A drone is going to be able to get anywhere around this city within 30 seconds and film the crime scene. I mean, that's science fiction. That's stuff we saw when we were kids, Dave. And now it's coming true.
Kind of like the Jetsons in some regards back in the day.
Yes.
It's interesting. When I was a cop in Henderson, there was a certain spot which was it was Burkholder and Center, and it was a major spot. There was a 7-Eleven. There was always like a shooting, something going on. I mean, the 7-Eleven's still there. And at the time, this was several years ago, they had this new thing where if there was a gunshot, the video camera would actually zoom in to where they would hear the audible of the gunshots.
Right.
And I actually remember trying to submit this like a grant for it. It never got approved, but I knew that it would zoom in. But that was actually prior to the drones.
Right.
So it was a camera, and it would turn and zoom in. It would be like on top of the 7-Eleven.
Right.
And I thought it was a great idea in general. This is even more amazing. But I think what people are saying, it's more like the Big Brother, that people don't like this concept, right, of having all these drones.
Right.
What you take for good people, we would think, hey, this is great, right? Like,
Right.
We'll be able to solve crime. We'll stop crime. It also is crime prevention, right? Like,
100%.
It's actually interesting. I remember, what was the old show on HBO, if you remember? It was in Chicago. It was like I already forgot the name of the show, but you know how they have the little cameras now with the little lights?
Yeah.
They used to put them in different intersections.
Okay.
It wasn't a big thing back in the day. But it's supposed to be more for like crime prevention, where you see the lights thinking there's a camera there.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to basically prevent people from doing crimes in the air because there's a camera. I guess, do you think that it's going to prevent crime?
It's definitely going to prevent crime.
Okay.
Okay, think about this. I went down to Prim. I don't know if you ever been down to Prim.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they have the Bonnie and Clyde car. You think about how long Bonnie and Clyde was doing bank robberies and they couldn't catch them, right? Because in them days, God, they probably didn't even have police radios,
Okay.
let alone cell phones. Okay, they certainly didn't have cameras all over. So nowadays, it's hard to be a criminal. It really is, because you were being filmed everywhere. Everybody has a Ring camera. Everybody has everything. So it definitely is hard to be a criminal, but yet people continue to do it. But I think this will definitely prevent crime, especially when people know within 30 seconds a drone or quicker, a drone is going to be there filming the scene. They're going to be catching people leaving the scene. 30 seconds is that's quick response. And that's the average, so they might even get there quicker. And you're going to have this in every city. Every single city. If Vegas starts, this is going to be in every city.
Well, what's interesting? Do you think that the drone should just be up there with like a little bit of a light, just for prevention? Like you're saying, they should go out when a crime gets committed, they get a 911 call and then it goes out. Or do you believe that there should be certain cameras throughout the city that are just up and running?
I agree. Yes.
For prevention purposes.
Yes. I think, the Strip, right? And I know there's probably something with the airport with drones. So I don't know if they're going to get permission because I know there's places you can't run them drones. I'm sure the city doesn't
I'm sure
allow it.
they can get approval to do that a certain amount of feet.
Right.
It's different if it's the city
Yeah.
getting the approval from the airport. Maybe it's
Right.
500 feet, right? Or 750 or something, But I will share with you, just like that homicide that took place where the guy killed the girl, the entertainer girl.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to prevent people with mental illness. I mean, people that have mental illness that are crazy.
Oh, yeah, they
if
don't
they're going to
care.
want to kill you, I mean, they're not going to. Oh, look, there's a drone. Let me go stop my
Right.
my criminal activity.
Exactly. It's not going to stop mental illness. And that's a thing that's really, with all these active shootings, a lot of people, they want gun control, they want this, that. The truth is the main problem with this, the main problem is mental health. We need to get people help when they need it. And we just don't do that in our country. We look at mental health. Mental health is, like if you were sick, Dave, you had a cold, God forbid you got COVID again, or if you ever had COVID, of course you're going to go get yourself some help, right? We look at mental health as not an illness, and it is an illness. And, people can't help it, but we need to get them help so it doesn't go that far.
Injured? Call 602-HURT. Car accident? Call 602-HURT. Pacific West Injury Law, a firm that focuses on you. Our firm is dedicated to you and your recovery. No fee until we win. Millions recovered. Here when you need us.
No, I think it's a cool idea. I have no problem with it. I think it can make our city safer. I hope it's true.
And
we're
anybody-
hearing the rumor. Metro didn't come out and say that, but I hope it's true.
And if anybody was against it, what were your thoughts?
Why would you be against it? You know what I mean? It makes no sense to be against it.
Because I think the thing I saw was on TikTok, the guy was upset about, it's Big Brother watching you.
We're being watched anyway. I mean, we are. I mean, think your cell phone is. If you don't think your cell phone's listening to you, you're crazy. Your cell phone's listening to you. 100%.
It was funny. The other day, I was upstairs in the second floor, basically, of the house, and I started speaking. All of a sudden, Alexa was downstairs.
Right.
And all of a sudden, Alexa's said something.
Right.
But we were so far away from Alexa. I was kind of nervous. But even listening, we're on the second level.
Right.
We're in bed. We said something. And you even can say it, Alexa, alarm, and we're on the second floor.
Right.
So listening in general. So, I mean, by the way, I know on the phone recently, there's so many settings, but supposedly on your phone, if you don't want the phone to listen to you, there's ways of, stopping the settings.
Right.
So that it doesn't hear you.
Right.
Because they're using that to basically sell you and sponsored ads and stuff like that too.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Okay, tell us the other thing is a big thing that happened in Oklahoma. There was a big homicide that took place. Tell me what happened in Oklahoma.
This is such a crazy story, Dave. And I got to go over the story first before we could critique it and think of who done this. So you got four grown adult men, okay? They decide, they're talking in their 30s and 40s, okay? The only criminal record either of them have is maybe a theft or something. No violent crime they've ever committed, no bank robberies, no assaults, anything. These four grown men decide to go for a bike ride together. Not a motorcycle ride, a bicycle ride together. Now four grown adult men.
Okay.
And it's not like they're riding, with their helmets on and their biking clothes and, going for a 20-mile ride. They just decided to go for a bike ride. To me, that's weird. 4 grown adult men. Have any of your friends ever called you and said, "Hey, Dave, I want to go for an adult bike ride somewhere"? No. I mean, we're adults now. We don't do that.
You don't want to go bike ride with me?
It's just strange.
Okay.
It's strange. Like if you were going out on this like bike ride where
some people are into it.
They're bicyclists, right? That's people that do that. They ride the road. These guys are not that. These guys are just hopping on their, whatever bikes and going for rides. So to me, 4 adult males going out like that is weird. They all go for a bike ride. Then they don't come home. So these 4 adult males don't come home.
Were they connected? Did they live in the same house?
They didn't live in the same house, separate places, but they're all friends. Okay? So they never return home. 2 days later, somebody's going by the river and sees body parts floating in the river. These men were all shot and then cut into pieces and thrown in the river. I saw a TikTok from one of the family members saying they were cut right in half. They cut these guys in half and threw them in the river. Do you know, here's the thing. Men don't get murdered like that. Okay? Men don't go for a walk and not come home. Men get murdered. They get in fights in bars. Somebody pulls out a gun and shoots them, stuff like that. A fight gets out of hand. Men don't go for a walk and don't return home, let alone 4 men. 4 men went for a bike ride. And how could you kill 4 adult men? I mean, you would have to jump on them, and it wouldn't have, to me, it'd be more than one person. Okay? Now, Dave, that is all weird in itself. Here's the most weird part of it all. Okay? They pinged one of the cell phones. And the ping came from a salvage yard. Okay, so a junkyard. Okay, that's where one of the pings came from. So their last known place was this salvage yard. Okay, so of course they're going to start looking for the salvage yard guy. They find him and he's in Florida. He has warrants for him. So they hold him on the warrants, but they've never arrested him for the crime or anything. Okay, but they hold him on the warrants in Florida. Now here's the weird thing. Somebody comes forward that's friends of these 4 guys and say that they were going out to commit a crime that night. They heard them say, "Hey, I got a big hit that's going to take care of all 4 of us, meaning money-wise." So they got in them bicycles to go commit a crime. So wherever they went to commit a crime, that person probably killed them, right? That's what I would think. Would you think that? Which would be the salvage yard guy.
I mean, it seems weird. It seems like more of like a drug deal, or that basically someone was going to commit like a robbery or something,
right?
And then someone was like,
caught them.
Caught them, or like didn't. Maybe they gave information up or something like that, and they wanted to get rid of those 4 people because they were afraid that the other guy would get caught.
Now, here's the thing about the salvage yard guy. I think a year before this happened, somebody was on his property and he took a shot at them. So he's already shot at people that was on his property. So the main suspect, 100%, is the salvage yard guy. But they have not arrested him. Now, the warrant thing, I mean, I think you've probably did this being a cop. You have a suspect, but you don't have enough evidence to arrest him. So you have that suspect, but there's not enough evidence. So you pray and hope when you run him, he has a warrant. Right? Am I right? So you could hold him for something, especially on a violent crime or a child molestation crime or something that's very, very serious. You pray he has warrants so you could pick him up on that warrant and then get enough evidence to arrest him. So my hope is that's what they're doing here, because if this salvage yard guy did not kill them, who killed them? This is such a weird story, but I thought about it last night, and my biggest thing would be if the salvage yard guy didn't kill them, I would think what you said. It's got to be some kind of drug deal. They went out there to commit a crime to get money because they owed money, and the drug dealer got to them before they got the money. That's the other thing that I was thinking. That's the only thing that makes sense at this point. It's a very weird case. I mean, the whole country's talking about it, and it kind of went silent over the last couple of days. They're not saying what's going on with it. I mean, you got 4 men cut up and thrown in a river.
The other story that happened in California where I think the family went missing as well. It just seems like it's kind of trending these days. So it makes me nervous. I mean, these days just, it's like, how do you prevent these things in general?
Did you hear about with that family?
It was in California, right?
I believe, I think it was,
or something?
For some reason, I think it was Wisconsin.
I thought it was California. I thought it was
but I think we're talking about the same family. The guy calls 911. Did you hear this?
Go ahead.
Okay. This family that was missing, they found them, by the way.
Okay.
They found them in Florida. But what happened was that made this really weird is the father calls 911. So he calls the police station, Dave, and he basically saying that the government wants to kill him because he knows stuff about 9/11 of what happened in New York.
Okay.
So he tells them the government wants to kill me. I need help. He doesn't say the government, but he says people are after him because of 9/11. Okay. So he gets these people, and then He has a dementia. His mother-in-law has dementia. He packs his whole family up, locks his mother outside who has dementia, and she's walking around the neighborhood and they take off. He leaves his mother-in-law there. I mean, it's just such a weird story. It really is. And, people were saying on TikTok, they're saying maybe he left his mother-in-law there because she, he knew she'd be found and he didn't want to take her with him. He left her outside because he knew the neighbors would call or something like that.
Would you say that, these things are, that's not like a random, like when people listen to this, not like we're trying to scare people, but these are people that we would say are involved in some type of criminal activity, right?
Has to be, or know something that we don't know,
Would a regular family have to worry about someone coming to the home and the whole family missing? I would say it's more of criminal activity, or they're involved in drug deals, or it's involved in
you would
smuggling
think,
or something like that.
Did you see this family though? They don't look like that type of family, but that doesn't mean they're not. We all watch Breaking Bad, right? He didn't look like that either. Mm-hmm. So you don't know, but it's just a weird story that why would he say 9/11? Why would he call not? And if you heard the message from him, he's very calm. He's calm. He's not excited. He said, they're after me, and I know stuff about 9/11. And then all of a sudden, the family goes missing. It's weird.
Got it.
It's totally weird.
Your Honor, I want you to get the full picture of what happened. The real world is sometimes complicated and messy, and so can be criminal justice system. My name is Ryan Helmick. I'm a criminal defense lawyer here in Las Vegas.
LasVegasTrafficCameras.com. 1725 cameras. Access to the largest network of traffic cameras. Accident? Injured? Get the video footage you need to get justice. 725 cameras. LasVegasTrafficCameras.com.
Injured? Call 602-HURT. Car accident? Call 602-HURT. Pacific West Injury Law, a firm that focuses on you. Our firm is dedicated to you and your recovery. No fee until we win.
Is Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Okay.
A lot of people wearing purple and general like that in regard to domestic violence. And, as cops for many, many years, we dealt with domestic violence, and that was probably the number one arrest that I made. What would you say was yours?
It's number one, yes.
Number one, right?
Yes.
In regards to domestic violence. I wanted to get your take, and I would share my take in regards to how do we help people that are women or men, prevent domestic violence to themselves, or being battered, or being, whether it's verbally or physically abused. How do we help people? What's the message that we should send, to the people that, even if one person listens to this, or 20 people, what messages, what advice can we give to people if they are right now being, again, mentally and physically abused, by a man or woman that's a family member? What can they do? What are some ideas and strategies that you have?
Listen, here's my thing about this. First of all, if we want to help these individuals, the police have to do their job. The police have to do their job in domestic violence, or it's not going to work. Now, I want to go back to that case with, what's that girl that was murdered by her boyfriend, Chase? Do you remember his last name? Her name was Gifford.
I don't remember.
Gabby something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Yeah, I forget her name. Basically, she went camping across the country with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Okay, the cops, I believe, find them in a campground in New Mexico or Arizona. They confront them. They're having a domestic argument. They see a scratch on her or something like that. Okay, they don't make an arrest. A week later, she's dead.
Is this the Gabby Petito?
Yeah,
one?
Gabby Petito. I'm sorry, I couldn't remember her last name.
By the way, you know what's crazy about that one? They found the body supposedly in Florida, in some swampland.
Yeah.
But they said they found just his bones, which doesn't make sense because it was very, very quick when they eventually find the body.
Oh, you mean her bones? He didn't die.
No, it was his.
No, he's alive. Oh no, yeah, that's right. He killed himself.
Yeah,
you're right.
They found himself in the actual swamp.
Yes,
but they made it sound like it was just his bones, but it was only 2 months.
Yeah, how
after.
would it be bones? I agree
Why
with
is
you.
it bones? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that don't make sense to me either. But
you need some time to get it to bones.
But I totally 100% believe. And listen, I stick up for the police all the time because I was one. But the cops screwed up in this one. The cops 100% screwed up. I mean, Dave, you got to make an arrest. They make an arrest. That girl's alive today. She's alive today. They screwed up.
It's interesting because most people don't know in domestic violence, there's always that. Well, years ago it wasn't like that. Probably when you were a cop, right? There was not primary physical aggressor. that had to be arrested. Normally, cops back in the day would say, knock it off. If I come back, someone's going to go to jail.
Yeah.
And then that changed over time. How was it when you first started?
When I first started, it wasn't like that. I started in like 1988, believe it or not. And then that law came in effect. And, I don't know how true this is, but the rumor is that federal law came into effect about making an arrest on a domestic violence case no matter what. If you see any like furniture knocked over, anything, you have to make an arrest. It's because of the O.J. Simpson case. Mm-hmm. That's what they all said. Because the police were friends with O.J. They went over his house 5-6 times, never arrested him. He ends up killing his wife. Same thing with this Gabby case. She got murdered because the police didn't do their job. It's true. So, the police, she would be alive today if the police did their job. And I don't know about you, I never messed with that. I was an easygoing cop. I really was. If I didn't have to make an arrest, I wouldn't. I would give people the benefit of the doubt, send them on their way if they were acting up. But on a domestic violence DUI, I was strict. Because if I let that person drive when they're drunk, they're going to get killed. If I leave that house when they're arguing and somebody gets killed, it's on me. I did not want that. I did not want to go home that night and not be able to sleep. So if I saw signs of any kind of domestic fight, I don't care if chairs, whatever, I would pick the aggressor and I'd make the arrest because I know they would be safe for that night.
So out here in Vegas, for a lot of people to know that if someone gets arrested for domestic battery, they get a blue card, which is like a domestic violence card. It talks about a temporary protective order, emergency protective order, and it gives you information. So every person where if you're the victim, you get this blue card. I always tell people that you should go get the emergency protective order because they always ask the question, was the other person arrested? As long as the person was arrested, you can get the emergency protective order while the person's in custody.
Right.
And out here, they can't leave the jail for, I think it's 12 hours, kind of a cool down period in regards to it.
Right.
And when they get released, you're supposed to get notified that the person's being released as well.
Right.
Because it just kind of give you a heads up, which sounds crazy. Now, Superfan Steve basically stated that, these pieces of paper means, nothing in regards to TPOs, which is actually right. I can come kill you at any time that I want.
Yes.
And then they add the misdemeanor charge on there for violating the TPO.
Right.
So, yes, you have to take care of yourself. You have to protect your home. You have to... if someone's crazy or mentally unstable or off their rocker, you have to protect you and your family, especially if it's a family member that just kind of lost it,
Right.
So you have to do what you have to do to protect yourself. But getting the emergency protective order, a lot of people sometimes they didn't want to get it. I would try to sell people sometimes, like, look,
Me
you
too.
need to get it. You can always cancel it,
Yeah.
but why don't we prevent this? I don't want him to come back or her to come back and do something. So I felt it was really important. But there is a blue card. There is a domestic violence card with educational information, which wasn't done years ago. Go ahead.
Good. I'm going to tell you something else. And what they do, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, I kind of agree with Steve, okay, Angry Steve on this one. That paper is there. It doesn't protect you. You still have to protect yourself. You still got to be aware of your surroundings. But what it does do is if that person does try to contact you, the police could arrest them and put them in jail. So that paper does make a difference in that case. But I understand what Steve's saying. It still doesn't protect you. You know what I mean? It doesn't protect you. You still got to protect yourself.
It's one step and it's one strategy to prevent someone.
Right.
For the average person, like if I got arrested, like I would stay away. I wouldn't want to be arrested again.
Right.
I would consider myself more of a normal person.
Right.
Where people that are not normal, they don't really care, right? They'll go through a friend or family member to text or email to get the communication going on so that they don't violate it themselves as well.
Right.
But the bottom line is that people need to be careful. And if they're in a situation, they need to notify the police or a family member, come up with a game plan to get out of a bad situation. But if you notify the police, and one thing I feel bad about people, if you're like the wife and you have no income unless that guy is working and he loses his job, that's why a lot of people, you got kids and stuff, the financial stress
Right.
of your loved one going into jail,
Right.
losing their job and creating that stress, that becomes a whole other issue. But of course, no one has the right to touch any other person in general, You could always call 311, which is the non-emergency number, 911 for an emergency. They both go to the same place. Most people don't understand that. They go to the dispatch center
Right.
for whatever city that you live in. But the goal is to report it. And again, you just don't know the situation, so it pays to report it. You can always remain anonymous. Say, look, I'm afraid of it, any type of revenge. I like to remain anonymous. Here's the address. This is what I heard. I heard a gunshot. I heard someone screaming. I heard something. So definitely report it. If you see something, say something, call the police, let people know so we could actually prevent any type of death, especially Domestic Violence Awareness Month. This
agree.
month, it's a big deal to let people know. We'll work on these different things as well. Again, the Problem Solver is always available to help people with problems. We also have the Las Vegas Legal Network, which is a different network of attorneys. We also have a medical network that helps people with medical, whatever we do to help people solve some problems. So you can go to the problemsolver.vegas, which is a live web app. Add it to your home screen. You can call, text anytime that you need some help. Contact us. Again, Danny, the Miracle, thanks so much for joining me today and sharing some wisdom.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, we'll see you next week. Be careful out there. Be safe.
Our attorney, Ryan Helmick. Why is it so important to have an attorney in your corner?
The state of Nevada is represented by the prosecutor, who is an attorney. And so an individual that is charged with a crime should likewise be represented to level the playing field. And as well, you want to have somebody who has experience in dealing with these types of cases, knows what type of evidence that needs to be put forth, what type of story needs to be told to the jury in order for them to see all the facts and the circumstances surrounding the case.